Your ability to produce light reliably, quickly, in any kind of weather, rain or shine, whatever the temperature is going to be key to whatever system you're developing and using. Nothing fancy here with another foundation video talking about lighting products. That's my overall catchphrase that will include flashlights, headlamps, and lanterns. And there's a lot to discuss, so much in fact I'm going to have to break this out into its separate video to discuss a couple considerations that might be important to you before you go out and spend your hard-earned and limited funds on a light. Now again, lighting is critical to any system. I don't care if you're a SWAT officer serving warrants, police officer on the beat, a civilian sheepdog, troop in Iraq kicking in doors. Lighting sometimes can mean the difference between life or death, depending on the situation. And hopefully, your lighting product that you've chosen is going to deliver when you need it the most. Now, that being said, I will say from experience that I've had some lighting products that have failed me, no doubt. I'll talk to those in some review videos, might hit it here in this video. And also a caveat is, just because something's new, whether it's a technology, a piece of gear, whether it's a knife, a flashlight, a gun, tactical vest, doesn't mean it's going to stand the test of time. I can't tell you how many things I've seen be introduced with a lot of hype, both in the gun magazines and in the forums perhaps, guys talking about saying, hey, this is the latest and greatest item that's really going to change the way we do business, and then years later it's nowhere to be found. And the reason it's nowhere to be found is because it turned out to be garbage, whether it was unreliable, whether it was overly expensive, or whether it just wasn't really needed. A lot of times there's gear items that people tout and say, you really need this, but in fact you don't need it. And in the Nut and Fancy project, i.e. my review videos, I try really hard to separate the chaff from the good stuff, and I'm going to highlight gear which I think will really serve its purpose. And these are the type of lighting products I'm going to highlight in the project. Right now I'm holding a Fenix L2D AA Cree LED flashlight. I will do a separate review on that. And this is an amazing light. And when we are faced with an item like this, we have to ask ourselves, will it change the way I do business? Will it give me an advantage in my system? Okay, so let's say in a survival kit. Okay, will it change the way... actually, that's probably not the best example. Let me back up. I want to say backpacking. That's a good example. By adopting, I'm just going to use this light as an example, the Fenix L2D, does it give me an advantage over previous things I used? I'm going to say definitely yes. If you're still using, here comes a real light now, and I'm going to discuss more POU with you. Hang on. If you're still using a light like this, a AA conventional, maybe xenon bulbed flashlight. This is the Legend, which about 10 years ago was very highly touted as being the end-all to all lighting products. This was a more expensive light, kind of along the lines of the AA mag light. But if you're still using something like this, dude, seriously, you need to sell the 8-track player and come into MP3s because you have skipped several generations of technology. Now, backing up to what I said we don't adopt something just because it's new. Okay, and I will say I've learned from my own mistakes. I have done that with some lighting products. This Legend is a perfect example. It was new. It had a locking switch on it. You know, had a versatile red lens you could put on it for my military job. That's what I wanted, you know, to preserve my night vision. Okay, so that was cool. You know, very high quality. It was touted to be very waterproof and supposedly more reliable than a AA mag light. However, it proved to be about just like a AA version mag light, which is to say not that great. So yeah, I kind of wasted my money on this. But the reason I did is because I was always striving to improve my system. And maybe along the lines of lighting, that is worth a couple experimentations, at least to me in my various systems. You know, military, civilian, my survival kits, my backpacking excursions. You know, to me, I wanted a good light. So if you're still using this, let's turn this on and take a look at it. Dude, seriously, you have an 8-track player. You know, honestly. Now, back in the day, that wasn't a bad beam. That was decent. You know, if you had a beam that threw like that for a small AA flashlight, that was considered pretty good. By the way, these are brand new Duracell batteries in this Legend AA flashlight. Well, if we roll in with this, again, the Fenix L2D Q5 using Cree LED bulbs, look at the difference. Whoa! Dude, MP3s rock. Seriously, there has been a revolution in lighting products, and they have finally, and I say finally because it's taken forever for them to reach a level of technology which is both reliable, cost-effective, and I will say system changing. It's going to change the way you do business in your system. No kidding. Dump this light if you have it. Dump any conventional xenon bulb light. And I know that's harsh to say dump it, but honestly, these newer technology lights, and I'm going to say the Fenix again, the L2D, is amazing. And here's why. This light, remember we're talking systems, how does it affect my backpacking system? Well, I'll show you. And by the way, this is from experience. I've proven this light over the last 4 months, hardcore. Actually, longer than that, 5 months. One way it improves it is it replaces a lot of different lights. So effective is its technology. That Fenix L2D, I'm going to have to crank the tripod up here so you guys can see what I'm seeing. It replaces every single lighting product you see here. Why is that? Well, of course it functions as a small pin light, has multi-modes, and no, I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to do a separate review again on the Fenix L2D. But it has a lot of different modes, so it serves the function of a very portable flashlight. And it is indeed portable, weighing a mere, I think, 3.2 ounces. Amazingly light with lithium batteries. Does it have the durability and burn time that we have or had with a traditional D-celled flashlight? This is a very high quality mag light. It's been retrofitted. Of course, you can get them now with an LED bulb, which is a 3-watt variety, if I'm not mistaken. It's a good light. Great home light, but it's big, it's heavy, and it's bulky. The advantage of it, I guess, is you have burn time. But does this technology replace that? Yes, it does. This will burn just as long as that in most situations, depending on your mode that you've chosen. How about this, the lantern? How does this little tiny light replace this lantern? This is a butane cartridge Primus or Primus lantern. Wow, you're saying this AA light replaces this at the campsite? Once again, the answer is yes. Big time. And the way it does it, and you've seen this perhaps from my video making lean-tos, is with a light wand. That light wand truly revolutionizes the AA platform, LED variety. Then if I go to turbo mode, wow. As bright as this lantern? I will say yes, it is, with fresh batteries. And by the way, the batteries in this L2D are not fresh. They're a little bit used. However, that is an amazing capability for the weight. Instead of carrying extra cartridges now, all I have to do is carry a couple AA lithium batteries. I prefer lithium because they're lighter weight. Awesome. That changes the way we do business. In a way, it's really hard to review flashlights because it is a marching technology. It's constantly evolving, and no doubt what I'm showing you today will probably be considered obsolete in the months and years to come. However, again, I think that it's reached a level where it's useful to go ahead and spend the money on the newer technology that we have here, like the Fenix L2D. And by the way, the Fenix L2D is not the only great light out there. The Night Core series might be other options. The D10, maybe the D20. However, the D20 is a lot bulkier than this one. I like how small and light the L2D is. Again, I'm kind of bleeding over into my tabletop of the L2D. Now, technology of LEDs has changed just within the last few years. Again, there's been a revolution in them. They're very energy efficient. The one reason that Fenix and other LED lights are so effective is because they are digitally regulated. Can't speak today. Meaning there is a microprocessor in there that maximizes the delivery of current to the LED. And it will pretty much level out the output of that light. Remember how we're banging our mini mag lights or the legend light to get that consistent output? Dude, those days are gone with the Fenix and the other higher quality lights. Now, I said higher quality. I want to give you a warning here. There are a lot of LED lights out now. They are currently in vogue. You'll see them at Walmart, at Target. If you guys are in Australia, Japan, Europe, you'll see them at your stores there. Be careful to stick to known brands that work. This is nothing fancy, giving you a little life lesson here. And here comes an example for you. This is a light I picked up at Target. It's under the brand of River Rock. Don't know much about it. It's a proprietary brand probably that Target works with. Here's the package back, which I usually try to save to show you some of the specifics of this light. It was on sale for $20. That's $20. It says it has a 3-watt LED flashlight, which indeed it is bright, which I'll show you. It's a Luxion variety, 3-watt. That's the competitor to Cree, being the brand, if I'm not mistaken, of LEDs. I'm sorry, I'm not the end-all expert for LEDs, but I am a user with some experience, so I think I'll get most of the details right, maybe not all of them. It says it's durable, tough, aircraft, aluminum housing. That's kind of hard to read because of the reflection, sorry. Multi-function switch, 2 hours plus runtime on alkaline. To me, it seemed like a very good buy, this little River Rock light. And let's check out the brightness of it. Okay, it wasn't, got to twist the back of it, which I never like. I like a push-button switch. Not bad. I mean, if we were to compare it against, you know, the L2D, it comes up second place, but I'm in turbo mode on the L2D, truth be told. But still, that's a lot of brightness, and having used this light running my dog a lot, I liked it. This is one of two that I got. One was a gift and one I bought since they were so cheap. However, I will tell you that it totally failed me one dark and snowy night. For whatever reason, this River Rock, the other one that I chucked in the garbage, by the way, totally failed me. Just would not work. I unscrewed the cap. I hit the switch. I knew the batteries were good because I just put them in. And then as I dinked around the switch and hit it, it would momentarily come on. It was intermittent. The bottom line is it became unreliable during a time when I needed it. Yeah, I paid $20 for this, but that one light's in the garbage, so I basically wasted $20. Now, time will march on. Maybe the quality will increase with these department store branded LEDs. This one already integrated the Luxion LED. You might see others coming out that integrate the Cree and future LED models, and they could be good. But, word to the wise, if you're going to spend money on a light, do it on something that someone somewhere has proven, or someone you know has proven it, and that you trust. That's one reason I waited so long to make these videos, because I needed some user time, hardcore variety with these lights before I roll them into the Nut and Fancy project and say what I suspected I would say. In other words, these are good lights. They are amazing, tough, reliable, long burn time, multi-mode, versatile, incredible lights. But what I need to do is go test it myself. So having done so in night tactical shoots in my military job again, and in many videos, not many, but several videos you've already seen in very cold conditions, here we are. This is the bomb. And again, it's not just Fenix. Maybe that Nightcore brand, which I have not evaluated, might be just as good. Now, some guys who are used to, let's talk about cost here a little bit. Some guys who are used to their mini mag light they bought years ago at Walmart for, I don't know, $10 will be maybe a little bit shocked to learn they're going to have to ante up around $50 US to get a high quality LED light. To them, that might represent too much money. They say, you know what, it's just not worth it to me. I'm going to stick to my AA xenon powered flashlight. You know what? And to that I say rock on. To each his own. You need to determine yourself what your system requirements are. But for me, the money is well spent. Especially like I've just shown you, it replaces several lighting products. Not just one, not just two, but three. I sound like a commercial. I sound like an infomercial. It's embarrassing. But I'm being serious. I mean, honestly, the technology is so good, as I've demonstrated, it does replace everything I've shown you. All you got to do is keep some extra batteries on hand, and you'll be amazed at the runtime you get out of it. So $50 for a flashlight? Well, let me tell you, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Because if we were to go back about 8 years before these Chinese, I think Fenix is Chinese produced, very high quality but made in China. Before they came out, we were stuck with the Surefire brand. You know, maybe some Scorpion lights. And they were just as expensive, if not more expensive. This isn't a Surefire. This is a Streamlight TL2, other excellent light. But there's a lot of lights that look just like this put out by the company Surefire, and they are extremely expensive. Generally well over $100, which in my opinion is a total ripoff. And thank heavens companies like Fenix have rolled into the flashlight and lighting products market to make that field more competitive. Because honestly, Surefire and to a certain degree Streamlight owned a market on these lights. That is no longer the case. There's so many brands out there, it's not even funny. Gladius, Blackhawk's brand, on and on and on. I can't, nor will I enumerate all the brands. However, for around $50, you can get a light that's going to do everything you need it to. Sorry, battery died. I'll join the clips. What batteries do you use in these? It just depends on what the light is, but you can use the nickel metal hydride variety. I like the Sanyo Inaloop currently because they retain their charge and don't drain constantly like a normal nickel metal hydride does. My favorite, especially for backpacking and cold weather use, are lithium batteries. These are the Energizer lithium batteries, the E2 variety. I got on sale at Target, no less. And here's some regular nickel metal hydride. These are okay if you're just using the light constantly, like every day, maybe a police officer. These would be just fine. However, if it's a life or death application, I recommend the lithium batteries. One more thing I want to talk about, the versatility, and I need to come over to the screen. With these newer lights, remember I said they replace a lot of different lighting products. They can also replace lighting products you may not think of. So here we see a bike mount for the Fenix series of AA lights. That's, I believe, an L1D mounted in a bike mount, and it's a very high quality bike mount. They include anti-aging and what they call anti-solarizing compounds in the plastic. So these things, as you drive around year after year under the sun, don't become brittle and the whole thing freaking snaps off on you. Awesome. The march of technology. There's that light cone I showed you. Awesome. Now currently the headlamps, let me come back over here and I'll show you one. This is a Petzl TAC Tikka, which I use in my military job. Love it. However, it does not employ those high output LEDs, either the Luxion or the Cree variety. They're kind of the older school LEDs. Yeah, it has different levels of illumination, but they in no way compare to the current technology. They may come out with it in the future, and I suspect they will have headlamps that do just that. But for now, to get hands-free lighting with the power of this type of light, i.e. a Cree-powered LED quality flashlight, for the longest time I was like, well, we're kind of out of luck, at least for a while. It's kind of a transition of technology to put this power into the headlamp. Until that is, I saw the Fenix Headband. How you doing? So now Fenix, the company, has come out with this headband that you can lock your L1D, your L2D to the side of your old fat head, and now you have the power to cast a beam a long distance, and we're talking minimum of 25 yards, 25 meters, out to 50 meters. A lot of these lights will illuminate, no problemo. Now, it depends on what you determine your adequate lighting is. For me, I say 50 meters is kind of the limit for these AA lights to really light something up. But your mileage may vary. There's a traffic cone, so you can slam that on, and now you have a signaling device that's pretty amazing. It's basically like a Siloon stick, in a reusable form. This is the versatility I'm talking about. So there's other lighting products, including bike lights, can't speak again, that I'm talking about that this can replace. So that's it. Lighting has evolved. It will continue to evolve, and it is such an important part of our system that it behooves us to get one that works. Now, if you think you can haul around a double, or triple D cell, flashlight on your system, I say rock on. But when I can get a huge weight savings, like I have with this Fenix light versus the mag light, also at a very reasonable cost, at least to me, and I get a lot more capabilities in this light, multi-modes, different brightness levels. I have light cones I can attach. It can go on the side of my fat head. All these cool things, which this light cannot do. You're really foolish not to integrate it into your system. There's guys out there, that's their whole life, man. They call them flashaholics. These guys know their lights, no doubt. I'm not really a flashaholic, but I am one to really recognize a piece of gear that will change my system for the better. This is Nut and Fancy with another Foundation video. Tabletop reviews coming. Thanks for the support, the good ratings, and all that other good stuff. Subscribing, I totally need it. Never take it for granted. Take care.